And remember, democracy is weak. It relies on the votes of the foolish masses who are incapable of choosing strong leaders. Constitutional government fosters weakness. The rejection of republicanism is what won the last war for Germany, and it will bring us victory over these stupid Americans.
That's not what they told us at the Academy.
Captain Hauptmann looks like he'll fit right into German society in 20 years. The exteriors of other buildings are visible through these great windows. A light hangs from the ceiling. This appears to be a picture of Kaiser Wilhelm II. This is a map of Western Europe. Frau Humperdinck looks like she can't wait for the day to end. A young German girl. A young German boy. James T. Kirk. His school looked nothing like this. Mr. Spock observes that the human education system was once full of inaccuracies. Lieutenant Commander Ellis looks at this artifact of the 20th century in disbelief. Dr. McCoy, remembering his old xenobiology classes. A table with some blocks and a book on it.
It's been a long time since I've been in school.
Fascinating. I wonder what Dickens would have written if he had been exposed to a place like this.
And I thought 20th century hospitals were grim.
And yet the very best people who taught in a place like this had the power to uplift people's lives, to teach them knowledge, principles, and self-awareness. This was a battlefield where millions of unknown soldiers of knowledge fought to elevate humanity from barbarism.
Boys and girls, let me introduce you to an example of inferior Republican stock. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk. Tell us, Kirk, how can you defend the ludicrous American system?
I see no reason to defend anything, Captain. These children are, in spite of your efforts to indoctrinate them, quite capable of growing up to become adults who will make up their own minds. I am not interested in a debate, Hauptmann. If your system is so superior to America's, how come you're losing the war? Why don't we put it up to a vote? You have a choice between a system that gives you leaders who will oppress you for life, or a system which, imperfect though it may be, allows you to influence your leaders and gives you a chance to bring them to account. I see no reason to defend any. Why don't we put it up to a vote? All in favor of Hauptmann's system, say aye.
Aye!
All in favor of my system, say aye.
Aye!
It appears that they don't want what you offer them, Hauptmann.
I will not tolerate such insults. The Baron will make you all pay.
Jim, wasn't that a violation of the Prime Directive?
Dr. McCoy, this is clearly an imaginary culture with no real existence. The Prime Directive cannot be reasonably extrapolated to affect such a culture.
Hi.
Ingrid is very shy, Colonel.
Are all Americans as handsome as you, Colonel Kirk?
Why, Bones, you're never at a loss for words. You answer.
Lieutenant Colonel Kirk, when I grow up, will you teach me how to fly as good as you?
Well,
I guess we're ready to ship you to the Academy, Jim.
Wow! A real American pilot! Can I shoot you as an escaped prisoner?
no.
Frau Humperdinck, Colonel Kirk won't let me shoot him! Is that fair?
Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane? These children are something, aren't they? I didn't realize they let mad dogs teach children. What do you think about the war? What can you... What do you think about the war?
It's horrible. With any luck, my students won't have to fight in such a war when they get older. Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane?
Ah, the Baron. Such a charming man. If all the military and Gothos were like him, it would be a better place to live. Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about what can you... These children are something, aren't they?
They are a little rambunctious, aren't they? Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think what can... These children are I didn't realize they let mad dogs teach children.
He's a rather enthusiastic officer.
The guard seems offended by your presence in the arsenal. The commander looks at you without a trace of friendliness.
I can't believe the trench would be so close to the town.
It shouldn't be. At this point in the war, the Allies had broken through the trenches. That's why Germany surrendered. Their defenses were crumbling, and they didn't want to see their cities destroyed.
Only one of many illogical situations, Commander. The building where we were imprisoned almost burned to the ground, but no other building was touched, and no one seemed concerned about the fire.
What else?
The fact that everyone seems to recognize us, yet the military does not try to intercept us. The building signs in English instead of German. There is much here that is not what it seems.
James T. Kirk looks out on the battered landscape and keeps his thoughts to himself. Lieutenant Commander Ellis feels a kinship with the dead. Mr. Spock analyzes the situation and wonders why there is not more destruction. McCoy is aghast at the landscape, which represents the brutality of his human ancestry. A lone soldier groans, but does not move.
It's hard to believe that I'm from the same species that could create such carnage.
We improved, but that's damning with faint praise.
This battlefield does not truly represent the misery that was your First World War. A single soldier where there would be dozens. Dirt where there should be mud. Trelane is not providing an accurate depiction of this war, Captain.
At least we have one thing to thank him for, Mr. Spock. Think of it. Millions of young kids enthusiastically signing up for a war without purpose, dying without reason, by the orders of commanders who don't care. It's too bad that things haven't changed much in the last 400 years. Kids still die meaningless deaths for commanders who don't care.
Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane? What can you tell me about the war?
I am a sentry. The others are dead. I think I'm dying.
I have a power reading from an object in the soldier's pocket that is off the scale. It matches with the sensor readings I took of Trelane's triplane on the Enterprise. A locket, Captain.
Theories, Mr. Spock.
The last time we encountered Trelane, he used various items, a mirror in particular, as a source for his power. This locket is another one of Trelane's power objects.
And if we could find and destroy enough of Trelane's power...
The village of Gothos would come apart, and we might find out what happened to the Enterprise.
Mr. Spock, continue scanning for power objects wherever we can find them.
Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane?
I like to watch the airplanes fly overhead. The enemy watches them too, and I know we'll have a few minutes of peace. Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about the war?
I am a sentry. The others are dead. I think I'm dying. Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about the war? What? About your locket. What can you tell me about the war? About your locket.
You want my locket? But that's the only reminder of my girl. I'd rather lose my arm.
We need it very badly. If we do something for you, would you give it to us?
I have a letter to my girl. If you see that it is delivered, I'll give you my locket.
That's odd. I should be able to see immediate improvement in his injuries. But I have no response.
That is because Trelane is interfering. This man is meant to be a dying soldier whose presence provides drama for Trelane's production.
He'll die.
Logic suggests that Trelane will not allow him to die except for dramatic effect. Given the inconsistencies I've noticed, it is probable that he may be kept alive indefinitely.
Can you give him something for the pain, Doctor?
Nothing I've done has any effect on him, Commander.